Lonnie. We're here in the BURGH VIVANT bar talking about Lydia's. Lydia's downtown. Lydia's Italy in Pittsburgh has been keeping us very busy. Always something going on there. And we attended a little preview of their spring menu.
Oh, but they're not calling it spring.
The first season menu, because
it's
really
winter, but they don't want to say the word
we
winter.
are all looking forward to spring.
Everybody's done with winter.
And I mean, really, I kind of thought, well, there are some things that we might appeal to us more than others, but everything on this was just out of this world. The first thing we had was Jotta, but this was a hearty Yoda. Loved him in Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, and this was certainly very appealing. A hearty style soup. Potato, smoked pork sausage, sauerkraut, and braised beans. This was a nice winter dish.
It was very hearty, delicious, and I thought it was interesting. It's from the Trieste region of Italy, which is near the Romanian and Austrian border. So there was a lot of the influence of the Romanian and Austrian foods with the sausages and the sauerkraut, and just that little tangy bit of sourness to that sauerkraut. Just
crostini di broccoli rabe. Now, this was a broccoli rabe pesto, house-made mozzarella, sun-dried tomato, and pine nuts. I said this alone could have been a meal. Oh,
it was wonderful. And I was really impressed. I've had broccoli rabe as the side dish, a vegetable, and I've always enjoyed it. Never would have thought of making a pesto of it. And the difference in that taste and flavor compared to a basil pesto, it was just so much lighter and good.
When you get fresh mozzarella, it makes all the difference.
It sure
and
does.
Lydia's makes it in-house, and I mean, you can taste that. Scampi alla Felidia. Now, Felidia is Lydia's restaurant in New York, one of many in Manhattan. This was crispy shrimps, spaghetti squash, lemon garlic cream, and a roasted sweet onion. And the presentation of this was delightful. It was almost like a little pumpkin. The onion had been hollowed out and had even a little lid to it, and the shrimp was in there. I mean, this is something like, if I was doing dinner at home for like 4 people or something like that, I'd want to go get 4 of these and like just serve those as the appetizers. This was great. I had very satisfying for a small course.
And I thought the spaghetti squash base to it gave it such a nice texture. It really gave it some zip.
You could really taste the lemon, and that it being sort of a cream sauce on there. I mean, what more could you want, except for more? Risotto di fungi. This was roasted wild mushrooms and truffle essence. So this was a risotto. Who doesn't love risotto, right?
Well, especially with the truffle. That, to me, is the most exquisite flavor, and it just tasted so good in that risotto. I love truffle.
How can you go wrong, with two things like that? The one thing that stood out to me, it was, as soon as it got put down on the table, the aroma. I mean, you could smell the truffle. It just had a beautiful bouquet to it. Now, let's talk about burrata. Okay. I didn't know for sure what burrata was. I mean, I knew it kind of had something to do with the cheese, but burrata, and talking to the rest of the folks that were sitting at our table, apparently, that years ago this was only like something you could find in Italy. I mean, no restaurants in America were doing burrata.
And it was exquisitely delicious.
So, like, basically, picture like a piece of mozzarella, fresh, house-made mozzarella. But the inside, the middle of it is just creamy and buttery and delicious and flavorful. And it was presented, sort of, and it kind of looks, and you might read about this in the menu and just say, oh, it's like cheese on toast. Trust me. This was...
Yeah, this is cheese on toast.
It's another thing that could, easily constitute as a meal. Every bite of this was just heavenly. I'm so glad to have been introduced to it. Bistecca alla Pizzaiola, which basically translates into pizza-like or like pizza. Now, this is sort of the somewhat Americanized option, on the menu. There were a lot of flavors and ingredients in this piece that made it kind of taste like a zesty pizza, like, you know, that you would expect.
Pizza flavor.
Very American. Hanger steak, grilled medium rare, white corn polenta, Pizzaiola sauce. So this might be for somebody, you know, I mean, Lydia's is very much known for its fresh pasta and things like that, but, you know, if you get taken to dinner there and you're really not a pasta fan, you're looking for something more meaty, you know, maybe more traditional American, this would be an excellent choice.
And the white corn polenta, I had never had white corn polenta, and I'm normally not a polenta fan, simply because it tastes so much like a very strong corn flavor.
Yeah.
But this had the flavor of the sweet white corn.
Delicious.
I couldn't believe how good it was.
Yeah.
You could taste such a distinctive difference between that and regular polenta.
Stinko D'Angelo. I know that guy. He lives up to his name, too. This was a slow-cooked Venetian spiced lamb shank, braised turnips, sweet potato, and scallion hash. Are you a lamb fan?
I don't normally eat lamb simply because it's lamb.
Oh, it's an animal thing.
Yeah,
and they're cute.
Yeah, they're so cute.
They're also quite tasty.
This was exceptionally good. Very tender, and lamb has a tendency sometimes to be a little bit greasy. This was not in the least bit, and there was a little hint of some cinnamon in there.
But I think if you are a lamb fan, this is a must-try, because it's the slow-cooked, first of all. Fantastic.
And they use Venetian spices in that, which is a very distinctive spicy flavor, similar, you know, you can taste the Provençal spices in some of the French cooking.
Finished off with a cannoli. And again, you know, I mean, leave it to the team at Lydia's to make something that's, you know, so familiar into just an absolute show, an absolute presentation. This was, again, cannoli to the next level. The presentation of this was neat too, because the filling was bright green because of, you know, of pistachio, and the flavor was great, and nobody minded that we picked this up and ate it with our hands. We did.
The cannoli is typically made with ricotta cheese, but Lydia made this with mascarpone,
right,
which made it a lot lighter and, after a big meal, a lot easier to eat.
I didn't mind that at all.
I thought it was good because I was so full.
Because the torturous thing was, you know, the tasting, I mean, we were very well taken care of and very full. And Adam's team there always does a great job.
Oh, the service.
I mean, their service was delightful. Adam always is very knowledgeable about what he is serving and the pairings, and, you know, listening to what he had to say was, you know, very educational for us. But you know, there were, as full as we were, I mean, there were things that we wanted more of. And there were a couple things we said, we've got to come back and you know, order this. Now, here's the toughest question that I have for you.
Uh-oh.
What on Lydia's first season 2014 menu was your favorite?
I guess then I would pick the burrata, only because it was so different than anything I have ever tasted. It was so much the same as mozzarella, but so different from mozzarella.
But I am going to go with the scampi alla Lydia.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, not only for the flavor, but the presentation of this was so creative. You know, I mean, beautiful. It was really amusing, you know, to see. Well, you go and get like some sort of stews, you could like spackle a wall with them. So I'm a fan of Burrata.
Me too.
I'm also a fan of Burrata. You ever see that, Robert Blake?
I sure have. I'm glad to hear you're a fan of them, because not too many people are.
I know. The show. Spices du Provence. Herb du Provence.
And in Italy, the typical way to make risotto is with ricotta cheese.
You mean make cannoli?
What did I say?
Risotto.
It was just something I'll really never forget, and I do want to go back there.
And like order 6 of them.
One of my pet peeves, as you know.
Only one?